Hey guys, in the spirit of things, and for all your wonderful comments on Max and his bag and that light that he had, I figured I would go over what he carried. I've been meaning to sort of do an update video on that anyway, so while I've got it here, this is the same original bag. Shoot, I think it was like the fourth video I'd ever done on YouTube. I went over his bag and talked about some of the food and stuff that he carried. It is a Footwear. After trying on many bags, I went with this one from a friend of mine in search and rescue. They don't always have ones with bags on them. Footwear actually makes this harness. Zoom out. This harness they make separately, and it is just a sturdy harness. It gives a good grab handle, light attachment points, leash points, and it enables the dogs to be worked more in the mountains. Now, because Max is a larger dog, the saddle bags are quite large. Be careful not to overload them. Now, the size of the dog in the bag is proportionate to the size and the weight that they should be able to carry. I don't load Max up with a whole lot. And I'll kind of go over some of the things. The only thing I haven't done yet that I've been planning on I think it would help him out, is I'm going to sew in some webbing here and build some compression straps so that I can suck in the unused portion out of here. And after I do that, I'll post another video. But the harness itself is a really nice harness, and it actually goes underneath the chest, underneath both arms, and crosses over with nice big felt wrappings, and then there's a second one around the belly. So you have a sternum strap. It's just, you could lift up Max with that and it wouldn't hurt him. And he's an 88-pound dog. Before I get into that, I just want to show you this product. It's sort of beat up. It's just been sitting in the truck, and that's sort of where I keep it. It's called a Gulpy, and I thought it was sort of a gimmicky thing before, but you know what? It is fantastic. Essentially, if I can get it in the light right. It flips up. It's a one-way valve, so it won't leak when it's shut. You fill this full of water, and you give it a squeeze, and it fills this trough, and it is the easiest way to let your dog get a drink on the trail. I don't carry it with him, or me for that matter. It stays in the truck because it gets hot for animals when you're riding around, and without having to stop and get a big dish out or anything, this is the best, coolest way to keep your dog hydrated. Of course, I've got a bunch of these behind the seat too. And that's the other thing. I mean, these things are indestructible. They're like an Nalgene, but they're a lot cheaper to purchase, a couple bucks a piece, and throw a bunch of those behind your seat. You're good to go. Alright, on to his pack. He did get new boots. I think in the last video I had these cheaper like hunting dog boots. They never really fit him that well, and he didn't like wearing them. He doesn't mind these at all. These are the Vibram ones. He's only worn these once this winter when it was snowing out. So they don't have much use, but he used them pretty well. I always keep one in there, and one of these Footwear socks. Now before, I would just keep my own sock or something in there, or an old sock, and that's for foot injuries. It's primarily the only reason. If he gets a cut on his pad, he's going to want to lick it, and if you're on a rocky area, that sock isn't going to last very long. So basically, you kind of bandage up the foot the best you can, put the sock over it to keep everything in place, then you put the boot over it, and that keeps it dry and clean and out of the way. Poop bags, something any dog owner is familiar with. Just cheap Ziploc bags. That's 1 cup of his food. Well, not actually physical cup, but the cup I use to scoop. So each one of those is a meal. So he carried several of those. That was probably primarily most of his weight, which is kind of the idea that he carries his food. Vet wrap. This is a half roll to help securing bandages and whatnot on your animals. I posted up this is a Life Gear Light. Hope all you guys enjoy that one. It worked really well, and I didn't really have to secure it much. I've got this leash loop and a light loop D-ring, and I basically just had it through both of those, and with the strap it came with, it just stayed in place. and I had it on blinky mode. I could have had it on solid mode, but I figured batteries will last better. I did put in a backup light stick in case that failed. It is electronic. It was the first time using it as the dog light source, so I wasn't sure, so I threw a light stick in there. This was a free leash I got when we stayed up near Mount Hood, and his correctional collar, which I actually used a couple times. Made him wear it so that he was... we just did some training on the way back down, basically to make sure that I went first. When we were scrambling, I couldn't have him on leash. It just wasn't safe for me or for him, so I took him off leash, and I put that on there just so he could be reminded that I was alpha male and I was the one going first, and that's the way it was. I mentioned a while ago, we've been trying this out. So getting pretty scratched up. I've tried it quite a bit of places. It works really well. Talked about it before. It's a Bushnell. It's not really a GPS, although it uses GPS. You basically can program in several different coordinates. There is the star. That's actually just a digital compass. The house, and a car. So you can have your campsite, your car, you can program it to whatever you want. Now this flashy searching for GPS thing happens a lot. If you don't have this, it takes a while to get anything on there, which was surprising to me. I'm not sure what GPS program it uses in there, or antenna it has in there, but you can see I'm in open skies and it's still having a hard time finding anything. This did not work while we're down in the wooded part of the canyon. It worked when we got up top. So it would sort of be a weird roundabout way to ever get back to your car. If you're in the high desert or something like that, I think it's still a pretty good idea. I just threw it in his bag, so we recorded where the truck was for shits and giggles. And but you can see it still has an acquired satellite. So along with the hotspot, that is still being reviewed. Still electronic toy. And then his kit, which I'll do a separate video of because it'll probably take a while to do anyway. This is very similar to the one I had on that very first video I did. I've upgraded a few things. I used a lock sock, ranger bands. It's fun. I'll do a separate thing on that because I know it'll take longer than this video needs. So that is what that guy carried, and he loved it.